where do I start? Where do I get my rhythm? Where do I get my groove?
I always start off with a bounce. You just start with a bounce, and then you see.
I'm part of the baddest game, most successful game in the world. I went to Portugal this year, and the young tour guide goes,
that is a tough break for.
How you feeling tonight? It's a big game.
A view of downtown Detroit is seen from the river. And before we get going, well, great stuff there, DA. Thank you. Truth is, Greg, Shay's not the only one who's surprised.
I'll admit, I didn't think he'd get to this level this fast, but there's no denying that he's a huge difference maker for this team.
Now, a look at Dallas's starting lineup. Inside of the 4 and the 5, Porzingis and Powell. Then there's Doncic, then it's Porter, and it's George in at the 1. And for the Pistons, we've got Brown. Tony Snell is out there with Mirotic, and then there's Steven Adams, and it's Rose in at the point. The Mavericks shooting their first shots from the free throw line tonight. We've got a terrific front court matchup tonight. Chris, you were the prototypical 4 when you played. Who was the toughest power forward you had to defend?
Okay, well, I'm going to give you the same answer I always have. When I was in the West Coast, any given week, this is who I had to guard in a week's time. Tim Duncan, Garnett, Nowitzki, Rasheed Wallace, Robert Horry, it's Karl Malone. That was all in the West Coast, and I think I played in the golden era of power forwards, and so I would just say put all their names in a hat, pick one out, and that's who was the toughest, because it was like that every night.
Hall of Famers, including yourself. No coverage that time.
And Rose has shown himself capable of knocking down that 3 when he's got some daylight.
Wasted no time on that one.
And an eye for an eye. Both teams working to stretch the floor.
Well, these days, so much emphasis on the perimeter game, but you can see why after that sequence.
And he gets the whistle. 2 free throws coming up.
And Chris, just how special was it to play for Detroit in your career? What relationship does this team have with their fans?
Yeah, it was so special. I mean, being able to go home to the house that I grew up in, to where my parents lived, and be able to go to the Pistons practice and to be part of it, to put on that jersey. It was so special, man. This team is a mainstay of the city. I mean, you feel like you can lift up the whole city when you play for the Pistons. It was such a special part of my career.
And here's Rose, following the 3 from George. Right side Rose, Doncic with the steal. Looking at Dallas, they took that win in their last game against Los Angeles.
Yeah, in that one, they just locked it down defensively, challenged shots, and really protected the rim.
Well, they certainly made their presence felt on defense. They were active and rejected a number of shots.
Stolen by George. And now here's George, the fast break opportunity. The All-Star weekend isn't too far away, and the voting has already opened up. A lot of buzz that Shea could find his way onto that All-Star team.
And there's so many players that deserve to be named an All-Star every year, and the competition can be unforgiving. With that said, though, Shea's performances speak volumes about his impact, and I think he has a strong case to make the team.
To the wing right side. Outside Mirotic. Back to Rose. 4 on the clock. Here's Snell. Brown trying to free himself up. Snell, no good.
Golden opportunity that he can't make good on. Maybe a wake-up call to the D, though. They can't leave him alone like that.
I like their focus coming in. Terrific execution so far.
Going for the juggler right off the bat. I mean, jumping out to an impressive early lead.
And the Pistons decide to take their first timeout right here. Greg, you look at the young Luka Doncic. What impresses you the most right now about his game?
Well, Kevin, you just don't see many players his height who can handle and make step-back threes. Also, his confidence. He came into the league never doubting that he could dominate a game, and don't forget about his brilliance as a passer.
Maxi Kleba, he's checked in for Dallas. Tim Hardaway Jr. comes in for Porter. Delgado passes to Teague. Lets a floater go.
And with his length, Porzingis can be very disruptive on D. Not easy to get the shot off over that huge frame.
Buries the long-range jumper.
Defensively, giving up far too many open rhythm looks.
Teague against George. Teague drives in, and the ball travels out of bounds. It was last touched by George. Curry's checked in for the Mavericks. Dallas on defense. 1:27 left here in the first quarter. Just 5 on the clock. Thompson passes to Delgado. Another miss, and they desperately need a bucket.
He's not an easy man to stop when he's attacking the basket. The D doing everything he can.
Their play on both ends has been superb. We'll see if they can maintain the momentum.
Yeah, you got to be careful. It's still early. They've expended a lot of energy, but they've also built a nice cushion here.
Here's George, and it's George finishing it off.
Offensively, defensively, they are in total control.
Starting to take over here, building a big lead that could ultimately prove insurmountable.
Time called here. The Pistons decide to talk it over. They are coming into this having notched to win against the Knicks in their last game.
And really showed their depth when they needed it most. On the road, having to manufacture points.
The bench did exactly what they needed to do. Without their production, who knows if they win that game.
There's 48 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Delgado passes to Teague. And he lobs it up toward the rim. Hammers the alley-oop through.
And Teague knew that he would be open there. Great patience and vision from the point man.
From deep, George. Good, and Curry gets the assist. 16 points for George.
And this is the game plan for him. He's a big part of their floor spacing.
But when he's hitting from range on a consistent basis, it makes everything easier offensively.
And George gets the whistle that time. That'll be his second foul of the game. Akers checked in for Doumbouya. The Mavericks also with a sub. Finney Smith's checked in. 23 seconds left in the first quarter of the game. Thompson outside. 4 on the shot clock. The Mavericks pull it in. Here's George, and it's George finishing it off.
And slams it home and gets some camera time on the end of it.
He did. He spent a while up on that rim, didn't he? And the buzzer sounds to end the first, and we've got a blowout underway here. The Mavericks on top, delivering the blowout. And we'll get the second quarter underway on the other side of this break.
Second quarter.
Rose scanning the floor. Outside Mirotic. Detroit, no good that time either. Dallas with the ball. It's a 12-2 run here. Good pace. Out to Hardaway. Puts up a three. Good on the three-point shot. Hardaway has got himself going there. His first points of the game on the deep ball. They've been struggling here on offense.
Yeah, a bit of a dry spell for sure.
Here's Adams. A second chance effort. And foul on the shot, so he'll get a chance at the line. This is his first free throw of the game. And so Adams nails both of them. Dallas has gone 6 of 14 with the three ball tonight, just a little over 40%. Gets it to go from beyond the arc. Powell's got 5 points so far.
Well, he's not going to get an easier look than that. You don't need to double team him, but you can't leave him all alone.
Rose with the ball. Now guarded by Porter. Porter against Rose. Pocket 6. Over George. And that one hits back iron.
They have been board dominant in this game. That's definitely been a factor in crafting this huge lead.
Bucket is good. 5 points in the game.
Well, part of their game plan was to block out the noise and just stay focused.
Well, Greg, their poise has been tremendous. I mean, excellent at both ends, has them increasing this lead.
Here's Snell, still looking for his first bucket in this one. Mirotic finds Rose. Over George. And it's Rose missing. George against Rose. From deep three-point range, another three for Dallas.
George. 3.
And so it's Dallas, sitting at a lead of 40 points at the end of the quarter. Terrific play.
Kevin, thank you. Well, Jay, great start to the season for you, and there's been a lot of talk about you making it to All-Star Weekend. Is that one of your goals?
Thank you, David. We'll be back after halftime for the start of the second half momentarily. And there wasn't too much drama in the first half, but maybe things will tighten up here in the second. It's been one outstanding game from George.
No problems fighting his way to the rim in this one. A lot of points in close.
Yeah, slicing through the gaps in the defense. I mean, getting many of his buckets in the paint.
Steven Adams is out there with Mirotic. Then there's Tony Snell. Then there's Brown. And it's Rose in at the one. That's the group for Detroit right now. Porzingis kicks to George. 6 to shoot. There's the pass to Powell. Second shot opportunity. He lays it in. Powell's got 7.
And a big lead for them on both the scoreboard and the backboard thus far.
To the middle. Powell with the steal. Here's Doncic. And the dunk by Doncic.
And when you want Doncic, he's one of those guys who kind of just slithers around until he finds an opening, and then bam.
Brown finds Rose. Count the bucket, and he's got a free throw coming up as well.
And giving up some inches inside, but makes up for it with an aggressive style.
Yeah, it's the attack mindset. I mean, that helped him prevail right there. Sometimes you just got to go with your gut.
Looking at who's out there now for the Mavericks. Maxi Kleber comes in for Dwight Powell, and Curry subbed in for Otto Porter Jr.
And you got to love watching Rose play the game. His intense style can be infectious out there, and I think it really does elevate his teammates.
Nice and steady so far in the second half. They're 3 for 4.
Dishes to Thompson. Pass to Brown. Outside Rose. Thompson passes to Brown. Right side Rose. Porzingis with the block. And they're able to recover. And he gets it back. And there's Thompson putting it right back in. And so George will bring it up for the Dallas Mavericks. They've got the Wizards ahead of them. Their next game in Washington. That will conclude their brief 2-game road trip.
They made the most of their halftime adjustments. They're shooting 80% so far in the second half.
Stolen by George. And now the fast break. George with the ball. And it's George finishing it off.
That's a double whammy, guys.
That's right. A great defensive play, then the emphatic stuff.
Oh, yeah, bang, bang. An impressive sequence that has them fired up.
And Doncic gets it to go. Doncic has got 9.
Hey, whatever adjustments they made at halftime, they are working to perfection.
Well, the results are clear as day. Great approach coming into the third quarter. We'll see if they can keep it up.
George against Rose. Porzingis with the block. It's out of bounds. The Pistons able to retain possession here. A different look here for Detroit. Maker comes in for Adams. And it's Teague in for Rose. Dorian Finney-Smith's checked in for the Mavericks. Second half of play, and we're 3 minutes into the third here. Just 2 to shoot. Teague can't hit.
It's almost like he's trying to make things hard on himself. You know, he's just got to slow the game down, try to get some easy ones.
And now you see them starting to really work the ball inside.
For Detroit, they've gone 2 of 7 from the field in the third. That leaves room for improvement, certainly. Just when you look around the NBA, which player most emulates the style and approach that you had, and you were special. But so you've got to have a very special category for this one, I'm sure.
Well, thanks, kid. That's flattering. I like to be in the categories with these guys because I'm such fans of them. But Blake Griffin, when I think about him, and also Joel Embiid, the fact that Embiid can shoot out on the floor, he can space up, but in the post, he likes to go to work as well. I just think he gives you such a mix of offensive moves that you can't stop. That as a defender, you're always worried and on guard and looking over your shoulder because you don't know what he's going to hit you with because he has so many options.
But in my mind, there's only one Chris Webber.
Oh, thanks, man.
Brown the pass to Teague. Thompson inside, defended by George. Shot clock at 6. Teague against George. A nice shot by Teague.
This team loves to run the pick and roll with Teague, and it's easy to see why that's the case.
Pass to George from deep. Can't hit that one. And the Pistons now going the other way. There's 25 seconds left to play in the third. Delgado passes to Teague. Here's the teardrop. Shooting foul as the whistle blows. He'll shoot 2 free throws. team's making some changes here. About a minute and a half through the fourth quarter now. And the call on the shot that sends him to the line. That's good from Snell. Good on both. Here's George. And it's George finishing it off.
The finish was nice, but the setup was better.
Yeah, GA, the pick working to full effect before the stuff.
Yeah, coach is definitely pleased. That's the execution he loves to see.
And George with the stuff.
And that's his MO. Sometimes he can score more points by himself than the rest of the team.
And so it's Rose who brings the ball up for Detroit. He kicks to Snell. Back to Rose, to the left side wing. Shot clock at 2, the baseline J. And the rebound goes to the Mavericks. Here's George, the offensive rebound. Here's Jackson, and he uses the glass on the layup.
How frustrating for the defense. You get the stop, but then fail to block out.
Yeah, and it's inexcusable. But all too common. Basketball one-on-one. When the shot goes up, put a body on someone.
And it's George finishing it off.
And guys, he's not an easy man to stop when he's got the rim in his sights.
Never has been, never will be. He is a determined finisher. Teague, the pass to Snell. Back to Teague. Shot to stop the run. Hits the layup after the sweet pump fake to freeze the D.
And Teague is just so calm and collected when he gets near the rim.